Today, in this video, we are going to apply the first coat of varnish on this cello that has been sealed and has a beautiful ground color. So if you stay with me, we're going to do that together. My name is Sofia Vettori. I make violins since I was 17 years old. I learned from my father, I learned from his father, so we are a family in Italy that makes violins since 90 years. I'm preparing the varnish. I'm letting this darker varnish to evaporate a little bit. That will become dense for the next application of coat. But the first coat that I want to apply is this one here, that it's made with darker shellac. And I will use the brush, Martra brush number 22. So even if a cello is big, I'd rather use a brush that it's not too big. It's a little bit bigger than for the violin, but I don't want to have a huge one because I can't control. So maybe when I go to Florence, I will buy a little bigger one than that or get mine that it's there. So right now I live in the United States because I don't only come from a family of violin makers, I also married a violin maker. So that's why I moved in the US. But this summertime, I'm going back to Florence for a few months, for the whole summer, so I can work with my father. And I will go to Zecchi, this shop here, Zecchi, Firenze. I don't know if you can see the name. Zecchi, Firenze, that it's my favorite art shop in Florence. Okay, let's start from the ribs. I'm moving stuff around, trying to find the perfect spot. Well, to have this one, maybe here. Okay. I want to have a nice light for you to see, but also for me to work. So I'm trying to balance everything. Okay, so this video are part of a series of video that I am making where I do everything live. So there is no editing, so you can really see from beginning to the end, the little process that I'm sharing. So this time will be the first coat of varnish on top of the sealer. This way, you can really learn. Because I feel that if I see an edited video, like a cake, and you see, oh, that's the beginning, and then they open the oven, and are like, wow, it's cooked, it's done. I don't know you, but when I try to do, then the same recipe doesn't come out. Because I feel I'm missing something, that it's everything that happened in the middle, that I don't know. So if you see really what I'm doing without editing, you can really experience and then also rewatch the video and try to do it by yourself. So as you can see, I'm going on all the edges with this first application of varnish here, like that, and I will stop here. So this is a very easy way for me to hold the cello when I'm varnishing. It's in Florence. I have two chairs that are, you know, the chairs that have the higher part for your back. So the classical Toscan chairs with the high, do you say hay? The hay, let's get rid of the dust. So the hay seat, part of the seat. Let me know if you know those type of chairs, very like classical Toscan chairs. So some of those chairs, they have a higher part for the where you can put your back while you're sitting. And so then that's also a great, so this height, so then I can have the neck, one chair here for the neck, one chair here for the end pin. That always double check that the end pin is perfectly inside. So one end for the end pin, and then I can roll it like that. So as you can see, my varnishing formula, it's very easy to apply. I can go on. Again, it's not the spirit varnish formula where once you apply, can't touch anymore. And if not, it's a disaster. So this is pretty, I go on again, especially with the first coat, they're very easy to apply. And But you can see already the difference, how it's coming beautiful. And here I stop like that. All right, let's go on the C. This wood, it's poplar wood. It's beautiful. In the previous video, I explained also the story, how I got this wood. And this cello will be model, I mean, it is, it's model Domenico Montagnana Sleeping Beauty. I already made several cellos with this model and always super, super successful. So I'm making another one. And I love the name. So go everywhere. Like that. So what I always pay attention when I'm varnishing, since the first beginning stages, and I know my students that like are following my video courses and like are learning from me my method, they know they make fun of me because they say that after they watch my videos, they start talking with my accent with their family. And I think that's hilarious, saying my words. And so something that I never tired of repeating is that we need to be careful of colature, drops. So what I don't want at all are drops of varnish around, here, I mean, whatever, because those are really ugly. So since the very first beginning, we are making sure that we don't have colature. Okay, now, let me see if I can move this one here. Maybe like that. Is this a good idea or it's a dumb idea? Let's see. Let's see. So this is an old end pin, cheap end pin that we can sacrifice for holding the cello. So I'm not really scared if it gets varnished there. I will not use that one. So this is a very cheap one that we will never put on one of my cello. So I'm using it for, and it's also safer because I have some wood pin that I can use here as like end pin to hold the cello when I'm varnishing. But what I like about this one, using a real end pin, is that if in case this part come out, there is still a huge piece of metal that it's holding my cello. So with the wood pin, sometimes, I mean, when the wood pin comes out, that's it. Cello will just crash. And so this way, even if this part comes out, I'm gonna show you. Wait, maybe I'm gonna show you later. I don't wanna make a disaster live. Okay, so let's fit one thing at a time. So this is me because I get distracted pretty easily. So focus, finish this coat of varnish, like that. So 2 chairs are fine if you don't have something like this thing here. I can't find my Toscan chair in here, so. Okay, hope you can find your Toscan chair where you live. I might have an old picture that you can see the chairs while I'm varnishing the cello. Because for many years I was not making cello, so now I'm making 2 in a row. The other one is there. So, but for 10 years I was not making any cello. After I had my second kid, Dante was born, I felt like, oh, no way, I can't make another cello now with 2 little kids. They are 2 years apart. I was like, nope, nope, nope. So, but now they're older, so, and they're much more independent. So, and I just decided to make other 2 cellos to finish. Oh my God, look at that. So in the back, I go this direction. So to finish this first series of cellos instruments, they have the name of the 7 King of Rome. So something that I do for all my instruments, they all have names. And depending on the model, the type of instrument, I have series of names. So it's easier for me to remember. And then for those that are following me already, you know that every instrument will have an album, a photo album with all the pictures from the piece of wood to the final making. And the album has the name of the instrument. And all these albums are handmade and hand decorated by my friend artist Daniela Baldini in Florence. She has a little tiny art studio very close to my family workshop in downtown Florence, and there is where she makes all my photo album and the decoration when I have decoration on my instruments too. So she's amazing. And for cellos, I gave name of the 7 King of Rome. So the first of the King of Rome is Romolo, one of the 2 brothers, Romolo and Remo. They are considered the founders of Rome, and that they were saved by a wolf, lady wolf, that fed them. So they have been abandoned in the river Tevere when they were born, and then they have been saved by this wolf that was feeding them and growing them. I mean, I think some of these stories, they are in different culture. We have similar stories. It remembers me also like Mowgli from the Jungle Book. So it's similar. And then Romolo was the first of the 7 King of Rome. And this one here is the 7th of the 7 King of Rome. And the name of the 7th King of Rome is Tarquinio il Superbo. As you can see, the varnish is drying immediately. So this is why I will apply this application a couple of times. And the interesting thing is that the King of Rome, the ancient Rome, they had also Etruscan name. So the Etrusci, they were the population that was in Lazio, that it's the region where Rome is, before the town of Rome started and the Roman conquered all the area. They were also in Tuscany. And it's beautiful because where we go at the seaside in Tuscany, we go to a place that it's called Golfo di Baratti. And there is a whole necropoli and acropoli of the Etruscan period. And that has been, it's been remained almost untouched under the scores of iron, ferro. So, do you want me to tell you the story? Because it's fascinating, and I'm varnishing, I can tell you a story. So let me know in the comments if you love me telling you a story, because also at the university, I study archaeology. So that's one of my passions. And so this town Piombino, now it's the closest town to Golfo di Baratti. And there is an island in front of Tuscany that it's called Isola d'Elba. And it's famous, Isola d'Elba, because it has some mine of iron mine. I hope ferro it's iron. Yeah, I think iron mine. I don't know. Okay, so let's go on the top. So, and they knew that since the time of the Etruscan. So they were mining the mountain with iron in the island. And then they were bringing the thing that they were digging into the land in front, where is Golfo di Baratti, and Populonia is the old town, because it was safer to be inland and process all this material. But the technology that they had at the Etruscan time to melt these rocks and extract the ferro inside, they didn't have oven that were getting so hot, so they could extract only one part from the rock. Then the rest, they were like leftovers, and these leftovers were like just piled up. So what happened is that during the Roman period, the technology of the oven, how to cook all these, how to melt the stone to get the iron from the stone, were much developed. So they could fire all these stones to a higher temperature and to take the iron from the stone. So then what they did, they just refired all the leftovers. And then they were piling all the new leftovers, where they piled everything on top of the old Etruscan tumulus. So the tomb of the important people of the Etruscan period. So they were just piling up all the leftover there. And then the grass grew on top, everything. So it was just a lot of little hill of leftovers. And then what happened is that during World War II, I think, they needed to have more iron to make weapons. And I don't remember World War I or World War II, so I'm not sure about that. But during those periods in the 20th century, so they needed to have more iron to make, unfortunately, bombs and all this weapon stuff. So, and the technology to melt the rock with the iron inside were much developed. So then they took all the leftover and they start re-cooking them, re-melting them, and refining the iron that still was inside the leftover, because now that the oven could go a higher temperature, they could extract more metal from the same piece of stones. And while they were using all the leftovers, take a leftover, under the leftovers, they found this amazing archaeological site with all these Etruscan tombs, tumulus. They're huge, they're beautiful. They found like a chariot inside and all sort of vases and everything. So there is a museum that if you ever go to Tuscany and you go to this beautiful place that it's a park, you can go at the seaside, you can have a bath, swim at the seaside, enjoy the view, and also visit the museum and visit the archaeological park. So when we go with the children, we love to go there at the seaside. It's beautiful. We also like to visit the archaeological museum. And they also do some laboratory where they teach you they show you how were the oven at that time when they were melting the iron, and they show you how to do mosaic. We did that last summer, it was super fun. And then how to make the ceramic they were making at that time. So I highly recommend to visit this place if you ever go to Italy. It's really beautiful. And so the Etruscan, that were the population that was there before the Roman took over, and people say that the Roman are coming, well, let's say from the generation from Enea that escaped from the old Troia when was burned by the Greek. So that's the story. And I love everything. It's so much connected. And there were music at that time too. So it's really fascinating. And so this Tarquinio, it's an Etruscan name. It's not a Roman name. And Tarquinio Superbo, probably at the beginning of the history of Rome, they were like still members of the Etruscan society and like nobility. They were like influent in the first Roman era. So I hope you enjoyed my little story. I hope I remember things well. If not, we can always Google and see if I remember things well. And now I'm almost finishing to apply this first coat. So this will be violin making tales with Sofia Vettori. And I was spending hours with my father. That's why I'm doing this live. When I was little, I didn't have a phone. I couldn't go on TikTok. Probably now I would be on TikTok. But so I was just spending hours with my dad in the workshop and watching him working and listening to stories that he was telling us. So he knows so many stories also of old violin makers. When we are together this summertime, I will ask him to tell us some of these stories. They're fascinating. Here we go. All right. So the first coat is applied. We went everywhere. As you can see, it's already dry. So I will probably go around another couple of times, and then I will let this dry. And then tomorrow I do my morning routine. And I will tell you tomorrow what is my morning routine. So thanks for being here with me. Remember, like, subscribe, share, bell, all the YouTuber thing. And we'll see you at the next video. Ciao, ciao.